Welcome to the tutorial on how to connect your company to QuickBooks, how to run the integration, and how, of course, to disconnect if you'd prefer to do so. Now, of course, you need a company set up with which to integrate. You'll see that if we click the Companies tab here, you will see a QuickBooks testing company. That's the company we'll be working with today. And the very first step in creating any integration is to click the integrations item here, and of course we would like to enable QuickBooks. The only other setting that you need to then check is when you would like these integrations to run. So we have something called an integration start date, and that is the date from which we will start pulling trial balances across into the system. Now we'd like to connect the company to QuickBooks itself. You'll see under the Group tab we have something second from the bottom called Integrations. You will click that menu item. You will see there our company is for selection. Of course, we will click View. And what you will see on the screen here is a big green button that says Connect to QuickBooks. Now that's the button that we'll push to connect this particular company. You will also see at the moment that this is currently not verified. So that tick box is currently blank. And only once we connect to QuickBooks will that then be ticked. So we'll go ahead and connect to QuickBooks. Of course, I'm already logged into the QuickBooks account, so the process is fairly straightforward. And QuickBooks is now asking me to authorize this particular connection. Of course, if you're happy to do so, please click Connect. And that will then take you back into the app. And of course, we need to just double check that you have in fact connected the correct companies, especially if you have more than one QuickBooks account in your group. If we are happy with this particular connection, we will then say this is correct, and your company has now successfully been connected. Now the next step, of course, in the process is to run the integrations, and you will see on the left-hand side here, we have our integrations here. You will see that is the company that we have just connected. Of course, there's other information here about when last the integration ran and whether it was successful or not. Of course, we can run the integration here by clicking this orange button. And when the integration runs, you will see the status here changes to running. You will not be allowed to run your integration again while this process is underway. Of course, you can click this refresh button here. That will simply then refresh the status. And you will see once the integration has completed, we will see the status change. Once the integration is done, you will see the status changes to ready with a tick, and of course that orange button becomes available again to click. If there are any errors with your integration or you would like to see the integration history, of course we would go back into Group, Integrations, View, and what you will see here is something called Event History. If we click that button here, we can then see all the times that the integration has run and whether there are any errors that need to be corrected. You will also see the action here. We no longer have that green Connect to QuickBooks button. That has now changed to a Disconnect from QuickBooks button, which we'll get to shortly. You'll also see now that the verified tick box is ticked. Now, of course, the integration has run, which means we can then see the information that has come into the system. And again, if we click on Companies at the top, we select our company and we say View Trial Balances. You can then see the data that has come into the system. All right, you will see each and every trial balance that's come in, when it came in, and who ran that integration. Now, there may come a time where you would like to disconnect your company from the application, and of course that again happens under the Group menu tab under Integrations. And again, we'll click View. And all you will need to do as the user is disconnect from QuickBooks. And it's a fairly straightforward process. We say disconnect. The system will simply ask you here, would you like to disconnect from QuickBooks? We will say confirm. And you will get a confirmation message saying integration has been successfully disconnected. And that really concludes the video on how to connect your QuickBooks company, how to run your integrations, how to check for any errors through the event history, and lastly, how to disconnect your company.